Okay, today I am back downstairs in my photo lab. Really, it's just my unfinished basement, and today I'm just going to show you very quickly how to do smoke photography. And basically I have this as a setup. So I have my cone incense going with a column of smoke. If you're sensitive to smells, you can just use like a candle and then burn it out. It's just not going to be as consistent, or you're going to have to be very quick. And then you have a light shining on the column of smoke. I have a flash with my with a receiver, and I have my camera with the trigger to trigger the flash. I also have a black background just blocking the flash from spilling over onto the black background, and I have this cardboard just kind of angled a little bit so that more of the desk lamp, well, it's supposed to be a desk lamp, doesn't spill over onto the black background. So yeah, that's my setup. Basically you focus. If you don't like, if it's too tall of just a single column, you can just blow the smoke a little bit. And then wait for it to kind of settle down a little bit. I just like to get more of a column with some swirls. And this is basically what you get. Sometimes it goes a little bit off, so that's what you will have. Then you take it into Lightroom and Photoshop, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I edit these smoke photos. And this is not a tutorial on Lightroom or Photoshop, so maybe that'll come in the future. So this is just a very quick tutorial on what I do to edit these photos. Okay, this is how my photo started, and I've already made some edits. I'm going to undo that so I don't lose the edits. But I basically just change the exposure. I usually go down a little bit because you want this black background to remain black. And so I'll adjust my whites. You can go up or down, or your white balance. I'm going to make it just a little bit cooler. I bumped up the highlights, moved down the shadows again to try to maintain my black background, moved my blacks down, added some texture so it would have a little bit sharper look. Added just a little bit of clarity and dehazing. I always like, because it makes it just really stand out. My tone curve just added, bumped up the highlights and brought down the shadows. That's different than the panel up above. Sharpening, I moved all the way up, and when you sharpen on a Mac with, for Lightroom, sharpening, you raise that up, and if you hold the Option key down, this will say it's going to sharpen everything. This, I only want to sharpen those edges so they look, they really stand out. A little bit of noise reduction. I shot it ISO 250, and then when I'm done with the edits and I like the photo the way it is, I did crop this one ahead of time before this video started. I am going to now edit it in Adobe Photoshop, and the nice thing about Lightroom and Photoshop is they work together. And so once it opens up in Photoshop, just a very simple tool to change that black background into a white background. And the command on a Mac, the shortcut is Command I, makes it black. I don't know why that's doing that, but and then I'm going to add an adjustment layer, hue and saturation. I'm going to move the hue up to or down until I got a color that I like. I think I like this kind of tealish blue, greenish blue. I'm going to saturate it even a little bit more. I'm not going to mess with the lightness, because if I move it down, the background becomes very muddy, and if I move it up, then I'm losing the detail in the smoke. So when you want to revert back to where it started, just double click and it'll take you right back. So now I have my hue saturation layer, and I'm going to grab it with the background layer. I'm going to merge it. If I wanted to come back and work on this in Photoshop, I would have saved it as a Photoshop file, but I'm just not going to work on it anymore, so I'm just saving it. Yeah, I'm going to merge these so it's not as huge of a file, and then I'm going to hit Command S. That'll save the file, and now it's done saving. I'm going to close out of there, take it back into Lightroom, and there my changes are made. And if you look at this, I can go back to the original file and even reset that, and that's how I photographed it. I don't want to lose those changes, but now I've got the one that I did in Photoshop. I am going to transform this and rotate it right, and then I'm going to actually crop it and choose the one that I have already in here for a cover photo for Facebook, and click that. And then I can see there's a little bit of stuff that I don't like in there, so I'm going to just kind of get rid of that. I like it to have a nice clean look. I can see there's a little bit of marks there. I'm not sure if this is my screen or what, but it's probably just the screen. And so I think that's ready. Maybe just to ensure that my white background looks really white on Facebook, I'm going to crank that up just a little, crank up the highlights just a little, maybe the exposure, and that'll assure I don't have any spots in the white. Now I'm going to go to export it, and I'm going to export it and save it in the same folder as the original and put it in a subfolder called Facebook. I'm going to limit the file size to 1500K because otherwise they're huge file sizes. And I'm going to put my watermark in the middle. I have this as saved as a preset. The middle on the left, and it's black, and it's over just a bit, and I have all these crazy names for it, and only I know what they are. So export that, and then I can go in and find it on my computer and put it on Facebook or wherever else. So hopefully this was helpful. I know it was a little bit longer than I intended, but some people are interested in this kind of thing. So thanks for joining me.